Hello, you're watching The Mainstream. I'm Khushbu Soni, founder of The Mainstream. Today on our episode, we'll talk about what does it take to scale a brand from zero to a global recognition, or to even lead marketing not just as a function but as a growth engine. Our guest today has done both and more. In today's episode, I'm pleased to welcome Udit Agarwal, the Vice President and Global Head of Marketing at Exotel. Udit has been helping organizations in reimagining customer engagement and thousands of brands in this space, including the likes of HDFC, Swiggy, Flipkart, and Ola. With over 20 plus years of experience across iconic companies like SAP, Adobe, Autodesk, and high growth powerhouses like UiPath, Udit brings a rare blend of strategic insight and hands on execution. Beyond the boardroom, Udit is a mentor, a team builder, and a storyteller at heart. With passion for photography and deep curiosity, what makes people and brands connect is his passion. Thank you, Udit, for joining us today on CMO Unplugged.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Pleasure.
Fantastic. Udit, to begin with, you've led marketing in dynamic phases for brands like UiPath and now Exotel. If you can tell us, what does it take for even marketers and CMOs to change their perspectives in today's time, and what has been your journey, in managing brands at these phases?
So thank you. I think one of the most important elements that I've learned during my journey, and I strongly stand by it, is very outcome focused, right? It doesn't matter which brand or where have you worked. I think the closer alignment to business and a closer alignment to the outcomes that we drive for business is something that if marketing aligns to it, it's really, really cool. And I stand by it completely. So whether we drive demand or whether we drive brand as a strategy, anything, if we're very focused around business goals and business outcomes and also around customer value, the balance between customer value and driving business outcome, which is either revenue or profitability or a top line,
Right.
Balancing it out with a customer value, what they actually, we deliver on the promise that we promise. I think that's a very beautiful spot to be in.
Fantastic. At Exotel, you've been driving customer engagement, Udit, and at a very large scale for big brands, right? So just want to understand, what does a meaningful customer experience and customer engagement take? And, how do you see AI really helping in this space?
This is the question that we've been often asked a lot. Our customers, our partners, they often ask us that how can we actually help? And we're very pleased to partner with our customers and partners all across the world to solve this particular problem. And one of the areas that we actually find interesting is if we can be meaningful to the customers of our customers. If we can be relevant of the customers of our customers, I think we are solving a bit of small puzzle of CX. We really index upon the X in the overall CX equation. And the experience is a 360-degree experience. When you reach a brand, and how does a brand treat you versus when you reach a brand for a service and support, how does a brand react to you? We all get numerous number of calls and messages. Seldom we find value and relevance in it. Now, how can we actually be more valuable and relevant to you in the journey where you are? So I think that is one of the things that we are solving. How can we more contextualize? Everybody talks about personalization. We actually want to take it personalization with more meaning, which if I am personalized, it's not that I know your name and I'm addressing you by your name, but I actually have to be more relevant to you so that when a brand reaches out to you, it's not spammy. Rather, it has to be more relevant and it's in the right timing as well. So if you marry the context, if you marry personalization on top of the context, you become more relevant to your customers. You become more useful to that. The second area where AI is trying to help us is there is a lot of data which is out there across customer journey. We all have CRMs. The organization have CRMs, which is a system of records which actually builds a chronology of incidents, what has happened. But rarely what has not been looked into it, what has been spoken into those incidents, what has been exchanged into those incidents. And that's a gold mine of a lot of information out there. And Exotel is working with the customers to actually harness into that data set understand what it is, and build out certain state, intent, and vibe of those customers, and create more meaningful conversational journeys for our customers, so that whether you are in a sales journey, whether you are in an onboarding journey, or you're on a service journey, you're able to provide a more meaningful and one view of our customers across. So it doesn't matter if you've been serviced by a bot or you're serviced by a human agent. What matters is that you've been serviced with a purpose, and you've been serviced with relevancy and contextuality of that. I think this is a time that AI is helping us a lot to go across, harness as data, make some meaning out of it, building meanings for bots to operate, building meanings for humans to operate. I think that whole piece of harmony coming together, I think that's a very interesting problem of CX that we're trying to solve, and AI has been very pivotal for us to do that.
Wonderful. You've often emphasized of marketing is more about outcomes, right? And not just output. So if you can tell us, how do you kind of balance the creativity of storytelling and, more about outcomes and driving the whole journey of customer life cycle in this?
Wish I had an answer to it in a very great way, because this is a question that you're asking about, how do you balance between the right brain and the left brain, right? And I wish there is more focus around our center brains, if there is something like that. See, as a marketer, it's not a job, but we enjoy telling the story in a more impactful manner, in a more meaningful manner, and educate our target set of customers and how can they be more beneficial. But what's the mantra that we live by is that we promise what it can be delivered. The second is that, does that story make sense to the to our customers? And if it does, it will result into some outcome. It is not great just to have a very fancy poem out there if it doesn't really, if the target set doesn't understand. They can appreciate, hey, this is great, but what does it do for me?
Right.
So we try to answer those things. What does it do for me?
Right.
Does it help me in the cause that I'm working for? Does it add value to me? Right? Do I think I need this? Or we help them uncover the need that they are having and build narratives and story around that. I think outcomes would come.
Yeah.
So I think if we place customer at the center, and we feel, and if we write what they think is useful, if we observe certain behaviors, if you observe certain patterns, I think the narratives will be far more useful. So my advice is that if we approach a narrative, what works for someone versus the narrative that sounds beautiful or awesome for you.
Right. Lovely. And in the last 20 years, we've seen the market evolve. We've seen consumers evolve. We've seen brands evolve and the way they reach out to the market. How do you see the marketing role evolved in these years?
I think marketing has really, really changed a lot, right? And I think many industries around us have changed, right? We're sitting in Bombay, like banking has changed dramatically. When do we last went to a branch? It's more branchless, right? Today, marketing is more in moment. Earlier, there was a campaign used to have shelf life for a month, 2 months, or 3 months, right? We have all grown up with jingles which we have actually, seen and comprehend for years. I think today that has changed a lot. I still remember certain campaigns, certain jingles when I was growing up. Today, I think those have reduced quite a lot. It's not that it's not getting built or produced. They are. But the shelf life is too short.
Correct.
So people are moving too fast. We are living in the world of distractions. We may be sitting idle at the airport. We look at Instagram, and then we can actually lost in the glory of scrolling. Versus when we get up and we see a billboard which is more digital LED and it's displaying a message, and versus I sit in a flight where I could actually see something else. So there is a huge noise of messaging, and everybody's trying to reach out to you in multiple ways and forms. The attention span has reduced, and time to make an impression on a customer has reduced a lot. So marketing has to be more in moment. Marketing has to be more faster. And it has built pressures in terms of producing content which is more relevant, producing content that works, producing stories which actually relate and hit to you and stay with you. And also, each of these journeys, when I say it has reduced time, it has also compelled for an action to happen. So you see a lot of marketing today is very action oriented. You see a message and then, hey, this is an action that I want this action to happen. Because you don't know when I get your attention next.
Correct.
And in what way and form.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I think marketing has changed a lot. It is more outcome driven now. It's not that it wasn't an outcome driven. Yeah. It's more outcome driven now. The advertising agency, the narratives have changed, right? Yeah. From emotional to transactional. I think it is going a lot of change. Digital platforms have changed the way we buy today, right? There is a lot of trueness that we would find of someone who's using it. The way endorsements have changed. We used to have earlier celebrities endorsing, right? I have seen celebrities endorsing certain products which they never use.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't trust them. But we trust people who actually advocate the usage of those. So there is a rise of influencers which have come.
Correct.
YouTube, Instagram, they have actually created heroes out of people who are actually evangelizers and users of the product, and they're doing an educational service. We tend to trust more. Yeah. So the trust quotient has changed. Right. So I think the narrative building, the trust building, the pace, everything around has changed, and marketing in that process had evolved a lot.
Absolutely. Udit, you've worked with established brands, and we've seen in the last 2 decades also that so many startups that have come up. You've taken Exotel to a global level, right? Tell us your experience of how marketers should really look at taking a startup brand and making a global recognition. What are today, because you said there's so much of noise out there with marketing, how do you really build a brand? What should be a top focus activation which your CMO should put into the team, that the team should drive on?
It's a broad answer, right? And it's a difficult one. I wish I had a magic recipe to it. It's not that there is some success mantra to make something global. I think what is more important is to really understand who your customers are. Now, do you find those customers have similarities in different markets?
Right.
I think we capitalized on that, and we capitalized on certain behavior, certain observations, and certain trends, certain industries behaving in a certain manner. It doesn't matter if they are housed or located somewhere else. The other area that we have actually tried to very focused as marketing also, it's what is the problem that we're trying to solve for a customer. Now, as an organization, that's a use case. That's a use case even for product to be developed, because that's a problem that we're trying to solve for that customer. Now, that problem exists in many countries for many customers. Now, there are similarities. Now, Exotel is one of the most pivotal players today in emerging economies. If you really see, there is a certain similarity the way these markets behave. The consumers shop, the people buy products, the people trust. There is a certain inherent, I would say, similarity across. So we capitalized on those areas, and we started to build upon our narratives, which is not too different from us, and it is not putting a pressure back on a product. Hey, this product A would behave very differently in this market versus other. I think, and that's a baby step. We intentionally didn't move into very, very mature markets because it would require our product strategy to be different. It require our market strategy to be different.
Right.
We rather go into markets which are similar of ours so that we can scale faster and better. I think that's one area. The other thing is that we built narratives around customer problem.
Right.
And we wanted to solve for them. And when we were more realistic about it, and we promise what we can deliver. The third thing is that I don't think so we had a built messaging, or we really ventured out into the market with the perspective of, hey, we want to become a global company, or we wanted to be very big. I think that's a residual impact of it. But we actually started to focus, hey, you know what? This use case has a replication there also. Right? Interestingly, we can solve for it. These ICPs are there also, and they are also facing the same regulatory issue, or they're using the same privacy issue, or they're using such a data issue, or their contact center is still. India is a multilinguistic country. So is Southeast Asia. Right? Now, if we are able to solve for this, we can solve for that. Right? So I think those similarities helped us move way faster, better, in a more efficient manner, both from a marketing, product, and organization standpoint. And in the end, we end up becoming a company which represents itself into 60+ countries.
Right.
Right? And solving the customer's problem. And we're fine that we are not very big or matured in the large mature economies, still okay. But we are solving for customers, because when we go there, we will go there.
Right.
We will cross the bridge when we are there. But when we are here, we are actually very mindful in terms of using our resources in a much more efficient manner.
Lovely. Udit, you have a solid team of marketing, and with working with various other brands as well in the past, we've seen there's so many MarTech solutions, so many marketing platforms that are now available to drive the whole 360 degree of how you do your go-to-market, right? How do you kind of find out the right tools for your team to really start using it?
Tools are enablers of doing a certain process or a particular activity. So before we actually go, so we don't base our strategy using tools. We base our strategy what we need to do. Okay. The second is how effectively we can do. So we focus on two things. One is speed of execution and quality of execution. And it has to be measurable.
Right.
So if you put 3 indexes out there, and we're a lean machine, ROI is very critical for us. What do we spend across as a budget? And how does the budget actually come across as in our revenues or pike or bottom line? Definitely we would be mindful of what we do. So when you put these constraints, when you have a lean team and you want to drive more with less, and you want to drive an outcome which is very business driven, you're putting a lot of constraints to play the ground.
Right. True.
Now, when you do that, somebody says, I think necessity is the mother of innovation, right? So when you do all of these constraints put together, I think team find its alternate ways to do it.
Right.
And then we go after, hey, you know what? How can I use technology to do it? Now, what happens in that ground? AI comes in and say, hey, these are the AI tools happen. This give me good speed of execution to start with. 80% of my work is done.
Right.
Now I have to worry about the quality of execution. So your team is sprinting faster, right? With the same goals or maybe harder goals, harder attributions, smaller teams, we are able to drive better outcomes. We are able to drive better innovation. So to answer your question, we really don't go to tools for the sake of taking a tool. We figure out, hey, this is what you want to achieve.
Right.
How are we able to do it? Now, I'm able to put 5 people, 10 man days to do a particular thing, but it's that the market forces are also there. Market forces are producing the same thing in a day with a less amount of people. Then we also have to be competitive as a team and as a matter of execution. And you put all these constraints in one place. This automatically would come up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, while I understand AI helps so much today in every function, right from customer post sales and pre-sales, which is our marketing as well. There are plethora of AI tools now to support the marketing division, right from content to creatives to design and in videos, in image building. What is also I see as a challenge, maybe you can tell me, is I think the content that we put out, tools like ChatGPTs of the world, do you see the team should use that or to take it out to the market or put a personal touch and create something of their own and, take it out? Just very curious to know.
See, as I said, that definitely our team is using a lot of AI, but it does not mean that they're just using AI with their eyes closed. I think the human element is important, what to ask, because AI will answer what you ask.
Right.
So you got to really be very clear what you want out of it. The second is AI gives you a speed of execution, which will give you a language, will give you a structure, which they give you a style. But they at times are not trained so well at this point in time that it becomes very prescriptive model that you can your eyes closed and you do it. So we feel that is about a 70% good start. Example is like you are writing a particular narrative or a story or maybe an ebook for that matter, right? And you the first thing that you talk about is what the storyboard looks like. What's going to be the structure of it? How do I? And you have bullet points in your head.
Right.
So you put your bullet points, and then it gives you a good start in a structure, right? And then you start examining each place and say, hey, this is not making sense. It's not stitching well. I want to build examples. I want to build more human-led thing, and then rewrite it. So instead, AI rewrite for you. You rewrite AI what AI has given to you.
Right.
I think that's working wonderfully, right, for us, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, another question is I work with a lot of CMOs helping them in their go to market. Personally, what I have seen is, and since I also come from the marketing background, we put across a year-long plan that this is the go to market strategy, aligning it to the business need and what business has to achieve for the year. There, of course, every month, every quarter comes up a lot of ad hoc requests, a lot of change in prioritization. It, of course, shaken up your overall plan as well. You, as a CMO, how do you kind of make sure that I'm not changing anything on this side of the plan, but yes, I will make sure that these are the requests that, we definitely want to support business with. How do you kind of manage both the ad hoc coming from business and your overall plan for the year?
I'll start with something very cliche, right? But it's true because I think change is the only constant, and it is becoming more of the order of the day because market forces are disrupting business much faster than we can think.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
At the bottom of it is an AI, which is really, really transforming things. Speed of content to speed new businesses, latent need of customers becoming prime needs of customers. There's a lot happening in the market, right? So I would say change is a constant. It's more scripted, more on the wall right now than ever. And as a marketer, we are in the middle of it.
Yeah.
In the middle of it. So I don't think so. As a marketing leader, I am somewhere very scared of change, right? I'm very, and our teams are aligned to embrace that change, right? Quarter on quarter, and we do have a yearly view of business where we want to head.
Yeah.
But what's the way to it? It's a very puzzled road.
Right.
It's not a straight road.
True.
Maybe that goalpost might shift from this place to this place also. You've got to be ready with it because market can shape things very differently as well. So having said that, one of the things is that we plan, we have a view on a long-term goal. We continuously realign our transactional activities with business outcomes and see what works, what doesn't work, what a business outcome, and we completely realigning basis on priorities. We have a very hard look towards our quarterly plans.
Right.
It's not that you decide something on a yearly basis and you divide it by 4 and then you execute on a quarterly basis. No, it won't work like that.
True.
Right. So I think our editorial calendar, our outreach calendars, our demand management modeling, our brand strategy or a narrative building, all of these things have a very short term and a mid-term view as well.
Right.
And they are baked in right from a business expectation also and a team expectation also, that if the change happens, we have to embrace it.
Yeah.
And we have to reorient ourselves.
Yeah.
It's absolutely okay. We will not do something which we think we have to do and we have to do it. Now I say, hey, we have thought about it and we have to do it. No, boss. If we thought about it, it was true at that point in time. Reality has shifted.
Yeah.
It's post. So we got to shift it with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do you see that these are some of the things which will be constant, like how the brand positioning has to happen, how the messaging has to go out? Those, do you think in the whole GTM remains constant? Or
I think to some level, because I think the overall brand promise, what the brand stands for, and it want to deliver or a positioning from that angle is definitely a far more constant.
Yeah.
Because you build your business, because it's not built because it's fancy English.
Yeah.
It's built on certain product strategy. It's built on certain market that you want to serve. It's built on certain need that you want to drive,
Right.
which doesn't really change so much. There is a level of technology that comes and goes for it, right? So Exotel leads with empathy. Exotel want to build CX like a human, right?
Yeah.
We want to build like a AI human harmony, and with all of those things coming in, like we build out a positioning or a tagline. We would like to be a friend to your customer. It's like a friend. Now that genesis remains.
Yeah.
We build upon it. There could be certain narratives be shaping here and there. That's okay. But to your point, I think the overall brand positioning, brand narrative and messaging is mostly constant.
Right. Okay. Another thing is, marketing is always ready to support business and do a joint approach to go to market, right? And also wants to start aligning all the activations, everything to support the business team, which is the sales team. Do you see a challenge in the market of sales reciprocating and supporting the similar way? And how at Exotel you try to make sure that there is an intersection of sales and marketing together to do everything out as an approach? Because that's one, and I'll also come to another question, because I also figured out this as a challenge that, marketing our brand heroes, right? They're always there to showcase the brand out with everything that they can do. How do you kind of involve the sales team as well and everybody in the organization to become a marketer themselves and position the brand accordingly? How do you kind of build that in as a culture?
I think we just don't do it because we have to do it. I think the first level is that we align to a common goal. So if we actually chasing the same goal, things become far more easier.
Yeah.
Because you're on the same side.
Right.
You're not on the conflicting side at all,
Correct.
right? So we don't want to play a game of marketing versus sales.
Yeah.
We don't want to play a game, hey, it's your team and you are driving this and I'm driving this. So we don't drive something which we are doing and we don't know what we are doing and it doesn't align with you at all.
Yeah.
So we all exist, these two teams exist in a company to make a company successful,
Correct.
to make revenues happen, to make a bottom line happen.
Right.
And when all of these things align at a goal level, it becomes far more easier.
Right.
So our interlocks with sales team is today, how can we actually help each other to do a goal? If I do a goal which is aligning your goal, at the end of the day, it's your goal which is gonna met.
Correct.
And if your goal is gonna met and my goal is gonna met, is company is gonna goal met.
Correct.
If company is gonna goal met, both of our goals met, and we will end up making money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
So let's not fight. Let's do that. Right.
Right.
So I think that has helped us a lot in terms of alignment as to having a common goal post. The second thing is that we don't do anything which in silo. So today, marketing is very strongly integrated with sales team into their sales plans. Marketing is very strongly integrated into every business cadence, whether it's a weekly call or whether it's a sales review meeting. It's also a demand review meeting. Yeah. On what basis you will do sales forecasting if you don't have a view on a demand forecasting? Right. So there is a reverse pressure on us as much as a pressure on them, right? So we are so closely working with each other. We don't feel like there are two different teams.
Correct.
Right? There are ways of working is different, but at the same time we are chasing the same thing. Yeah, we're chasing the same account. It also brings a lot of pressure on marketers to know the accounts that they are going after, to know what's happening into those, to know if the pipeline that you have generated is moving forward also or not. Yeah. Are we actually getting a high in terms of this was the case that we generated and it got closed? Right. And we were part of it through the time, right? So there are many examples of very large deals that we are able to crack. There are many examples that we are able to drive the mid-market business. It's also because we are part of that process through and through. It is not an activity that we meet once in a quarter or once in a year. We decide on something and you do something and I do something and say, hey, we don't meet at all. Yeah. We're just doing it together.
Awesome. As a CMO, Udit, what are the top 3 or 5 things that you consider as your personal KPI as a CMO working for any brand?
Many though, but I think a couple of the top ones that is, I don't consider marketing as a cost center. Right. I think marketing is definitely a revenue center for brands to propel. So we are a propeller. We are a propelling engine of the aircraft. If I have to draw an example or analogy out here, so we have that engine of growth, which actually drives huge growth to business. There are different ways to do it, but that's what I feel is if you start seeing marketing as P&L, if you start to see marketing ROI at a bottom line level, I think things will automatically change a lot because we ourselves become hard on ourselves. We started to question a lot of things. Yeah. Why are we doing what we are doing? Becomes even more meaningful. So true. That's one area that's very close to me, and why I say that marketing has to be outcome focused is not because it has to be outcome focused, right? But it has to align it to business so closely. I think the second area where I really resonate well is how do we build growth within the team, right? You constantly grow talent. Finding talent and growing talent is becoming very, very difficult, right? True. We are very mindful of who we hire. We just don't hire for the sake of hiring. We just don't throw people at problems. Right. If the problem can be solved with the process, you don't need a person. You rather expand someone's role and let that person grow. True. And do more meaningful work of their lives. Yeah. I think this whole talent philosophy and a talent strategy of building someone's career, you being responsible towards someone's career versus being responsible towards someone's job. Right. I think there's a little nuance out there. Yeah. I think that's the other area that I really put a lot of focus on. The third is being frugal is not bad, right? Doing more with less is always push us to do the same thing differently.
Yeah.
I think that drives a lot of innovation within the team.
Right.
Marketing has always been constrained. I feel that if we have best of the budget and most of the budget all the time, I think we'll get lazy.
Yeah. True.
We'll get lazy, right? We won't be able to find new ways to do the same thing.
So true.
That's opposite force is something which is interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it bothers you, but if you really see the hindsight and you feel proud and look back and say, hey, you know what, I had less resource, but we've still been able to deliver value to business. In that process, the learning becomes even more enriching.
Yeah.
So the path of learning is also when there are a lot of constraints on that.
Right.
So there is no fun
Right.
if there are not many constraints.
Right.
So these are the three things I would say don't have like many. So one is like, how do we be very focused around business outcomes? Be very obsessed about it. And second is how do we build careers and talent about it? And third is how do we actually look for more constraint and solve for those constraints and actually practice innovation? That's my take.
Absolutely a leadership quality. Awesome. So one last question.
Sure.
Suggestions or something that you would want to say for inspiring marketers who want to reach the role of CMO? What are the things that they should consider or work upon themselves in these dynamic times?
I think talent these days is very privileged than the times that we lived in.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I think there's a lot available to them today in terms of information, in terms of social security, in terms of, I think, thanks to our parents and grandparents, there's a lot of grind has happened. So there is a little basic economic strata which has gone up.
Yes.
So which is creating very comfort level to all of people. And there is an element of hustle I see at times is missing, right? There are a lot of people do hustle as well. But I think that's element of hustle don't lose. And hustle with a purpose will give you a more purpose. Right. I think that's one area I would say. The second is that own it.
Right.
Just don't doing things for the sake of doing it. And just don't be comfortable of doing your part.
Right.
Just see how that part plays out in the overall scheme of things. And question, does that part make sense also or not?
Yeah.
Did that part completed what you set out for?
Yeah.
I think talent would find more areas of growth automatically, right?
Absolutely.
And these two qualities will help you become more dependable, right? So if say, hey, I'm going to be dependable. Now you want to be dependable on what?
Yeah.
You want to be dependable on areas like you will make things happen.
Yeah.
You won't stop, right? You will, make sure that you will see the path to completeness. You just don't do your part. मैंने ये content बना दिया है. This is done. What will you do with this? How will it make business for the company? Does it reaching to the people who it matters to? Does it adding value to anywhere? You did your part, but just don't be satisfied. So learn to be bit uncomfortable. Yeah. Right. I think so. So I feel that's
very, very true. And I think if I would have heard this when I was starting my career, wow, I would have known what to do as a marketer. But excellent. I think this was lovely insight. So that I have a surprise element. I'm going to be doing a small rapid fire.
Sure, please go ahead.
So whatever comes first in your mind is what we want to know. So let's start with the first question. One marketing buzzword you secretly wish would disappear.
It's not a marketing buzzword, but I would say one word which is used and overused, strategy. Sometimes, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. A campaign you wish you had worked on.
Many though. I think one of the campaigns is how Apple actually utilized the power of camera to create photographers at scale.
Right.
I think very interesting.
Your leadership style in one word.
Execute.
If not marketing, then?
I don't know. But if not marketing, maybe I could have been a very customer-centric role, maybe sales or business development. I feel connected there.
Lovely. Favorite brand tagline of all time? I know you would have Exotel coming in first in your mind.
I do, but but if I really have to say, I think a tagline which is good all the time is just do it. Very simple, very powerful.
Yeah, very true. One hobby you'd love to pick up.
One hobby I should find more time is photography. I don't get time to do it.
Awesome. What's your superpower outside of work?
Um, it's more curiosity, right? So I'm curious always. I just try to absorb as much as possible, right? Superpower is just I want to know it as much as possible.
Nice. A quote or mantra you live by?
I think I've spoken a lot about it though, in
Yeah, you did.
shades of it.
Yeah.
But I think one of my strongest superpower in life has been, and it has actually shaped me where what I'm doing today is resilience, right?
Mhm.
And an act of not giving up.
Yeah.
We will make it happen. We will do it is something that I live by. So there is a very famous quote by Luther Martin, right, which said, if you can't fly, you run. And if you can't run, you walk. And if you can't walk, you crawl. But the most important time is keep moving, right? It has a very strong anecdotal of that I'm strong, I am adaptable, and I will rise again. I think just don't lose heart with small defeats. I think that's been my mantra on life.
Lovely. This was a lovely conversation. You did well on the rapid fire.
Thank you.
But very interesting insights, and thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.